Some of them fled here, coming illegally into the country in hopes of finding a better life. Others were kidnapped and brought here against their will. Some of them, they're literally the girl next door. What they share is that they are either in the criminal sex syndicate, they're sex slaves, or they are the victims of some adult male who is violating them on an ongoing basis. And they go to Planned Parenthood. And Planned Parenthood, rather than telling the authorities what's going on, covers up the crimes and keeps them locked in this hell. We're going to expose Planned Parenthood today. Welcome to today's program, friend. We are in the middle of a series on Planned Parenthood, and we're doing that because recently President Obama became the first sitting president to speak at a Planned Parenthood conference, praising their work, their service for young women for nearly 100 years. We are going just a little bit deeper into the news to show you who Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was, what the organization really stands for, what they are doing to young people, coast to coast. So if you missed any of those shows, and if you want to see the upcoming ones, you can find them all in the archives in a special section about Planned Parenthood. Go to voiceofresistance.com. Now, I read to you yesterday from my book, Accessory to Murder. By the way, if you want to get this, we'll send it to you for a gift of any size. Just pay the shipping and handling. I'll even autograph it for you, okay? You'll learn more in this book than you're hearing on any of the news outlets about Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood. Lane, do me a favor. Play the two quotes about, actually play the one for Obama saying, "I've got your back." All right, just so you see.
As long as we've got to fight to make sure women have access to quality, affordable health care, and as long as we've got to fight to protect a woman's right to make her own choices about her own health, I want you to know that you've also got a president who's going to be right there with you, fighting every step of the way.
There it is, folks. Obama, as long as he's president, he's going to protect Planned Parenthood. He's the big tough guy, and he's going to fight against people like me and you who want to defund them and see their organization driven back to hell where it came from. Well, let's talk a little bit about their vision and their agenda. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was by every definition a harlot. She was rubbing shoulders constantly with Malthusians and socialists. And Malthusians are people who think there's not enough food in the world to go around, so we should abort people or we should sterilize people forcefully. She was involved with unthinkable sexual perversion. She was very close to the eugenics movement associated with Germany, okay, with the Nazis, who wanted genetic cleansing. One of her board members was Dr. Lothrop Stoddard, who wrote the book, The Rising Tide of Color Against White World Supremacy. Dr. Stoddard traveled to Germany and met personally with Adolf Hitler. Another fine specimen of evil, Dr. Ernst Rudin, he was the director of Nazi medical experimentation. He was a German. She solicited him, and he accepted, to write for her birth control review. Okay? Even after the Nazis had invaded Poland, she was still giving the Nazi eugenics movement positive press here in America until it became politically untenable to do so. Now, she also spoke in her book, The Pivot of Civilization, about eliminating human weeds. All right? The human weeds were African Americans, Slavs, Poles, Jews, poor people, This is who she went after. In fact, let me show you how she lumps a whole bunch of good people together. Listen. In The Pivot of Civilization, she lumps together in one sentence the insane, criminals, the mentally defective, and the poor. She calls them paupers, and then calls them all feeble-minded. So what's her solution? She states, we now have commissions for controlling the gypsy moth and the boll weevil, the foot and mouth disease, and for protecting the shellfish and wild game, but we have no commission which even attempts to modify or to control the vast moral and economic forces represented by the feeble-minded persons at large in the community. In other words, if you're poor or if you're feeble-minded, well, you might have that animal attraction that she spoke about yesterday, but you should not be able to mate and reproduce. She wanted the forceful sterilization of people that she deemed less fit to consume the items of this world than she and her friends. This is what the founder of Planned Parenthood was all about. Fast forward to today. Where are most Planned Parenthood clinics? Yeah, they're in poor African American neighborhoods, Hispanic neighborhoods, in African American schools. Planned Parenthood is still pursuing her dream. Why do you think that African Americans are about 12% of the population, but they comprise about a third of all the dead babies by abortion? Because Planned Parenthood and their ideological cohorts are relentlessly pursuing the death and the sterilization of the African American community. When we come back from this break, I'll talk to you about the Negro Project and what Margaret Sanger set out to do and accomplished, I might add. Don't go away.